Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then welcome. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a trying new TJMAXX and Marshall's makeup. So I took a look through my channel to see the last time I filmed one of these videos, and it was 9 months ago. So we were definitely due for one of these videos. Now, I usually do a full face, but unfortunately today I don't have everything to do a full face. I do have a decent amount of product though, so we're just going to work with what we got. But so yeah, if you guys want to see me try out a bunch of new TJMAXX and Marshall's makeup, then just keep on watching. If you see any purple or really white strands in my hair, I accidentally left my purple shampoo on for way too long in the shower last night. So I'm like looking at my hair and I see some pieces that are literally purple and I'm like, yikes, but that's alright, it's a new look. Okay, so we're going to start off with the eyes, and I wanted to do an army green eyeshadow look, but I didn't have a palette that had those colors in there, so I'm just going to work with these. I have the Lorac Pro Palette 3 and just the regular Pro Palette. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use today, so I just took them both out just in case. I think I'm leaning more towards this one because it has more of like those warm, like yellowy brown sorts of colors, where this has like kind of like mauve-y pinks. So I'm going to go ahead and open this one up. And this does come with an eyeshadow primer that I used to love back in the day. But now I like using eyeshadow primers that have a little bit of coverage in them because my eyes are super veiny. But I am going to be using this eyeshadow primer today because I haven't used it in a long time and I want to try it out again and see what I think. But I picked this up for only $9.99. So this is what the palette looks like. I'm going to try to stick to this palette, but I might dabble a little bit into the regular Pro palette. And then here's the little mini eyeshadow primer. I can't remember like why I like this so much. I just remember like this being the only eyeshadow primer I had in my collection really that worked pretty good on my eyes. But I'm curious to see what I think now that like I've tried so many different eyeshadow primers. And I'm just going to use this brush to blend it out. So I think I'm going to have to use both of these palettes because I do know that I want gold in my eyeshadow look, but this palette doesn't have a gold, but this one does. So I think I'm mainly going to use this palette and then just use the gold from this one. I hate that I have to do that, but you got to do what you got to do. And I think I'm going to be doing a halo eye because I haven't done one in a hot minute. But first off, I'm going to take this shade called Dark Brown. I'm going to start by applying that on my inner corner and also the outer corner. And I'm going to connect the two. This is gonna look crazy at first, but I promise I have a method to my madness. Now I'm gonna go in with the shade Terracotta, and I'm just gonna blend out the edges. Now I'm gonna go back in with the shade Dark Brown, and I'm just gonna kind of fluff that and mix those two colors together. Alright, now I have my fluffy brush. Just gonna blend this out a little bit more. I'm also going to take a little bit of this shade right here just to kind of help those two blend together. Going back in with that clean blending brush, I'm just going to go over all the edges again. Okay, so far I'm really liking this palette. I do feel like there's some areas that could blend a little bit better. I don't know if that's the eyeshadow primer. Maybe I should have set the eyeshadow primer first and things would blend a little bit better. It wasn't too difficult. I just feel like there's some spots that could look a touch better, but it's not horrible. Alright, now I'm going to go in with the Lorac Pro palette and I'm going to take this gold. It's literally called gold. And I'm going to take a flat shader brush. I'm going to go ahead and apply that to that blank space that we left. It is so pigmented though. Like this is without wetting my brush. I'm going to go back in with a little bit of dark brown from that other palette. I'm just going to go over this edge. Make sure it's nice and blended. So far I'm digging this gold color. I love how pigmented it was and how easy it was to blend with the brown, and I'm pretty obsessed. But I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the shade Light Bronze. Now I will say this does have a little bit of kickback, but nothing crazy. I'm gonna take that color and I'm gonna put that right in the center. Okay, maybe not. That did not have the effect that I wanted, so I'm just gonna cover it back up with some gold. Alright, I'm gonna take this shade right here called Light Gold. I feel like that will go good with gold. And I'm just gonna put that in the center. I just kind of wanted to brighten up the center of the eye a little bit to really give it that halo effect. I'm gonna go back in with dark brown. Now this isn't your precise halo eye where you go ahead and you cut the crease. I didn't want to get too technical. If you do want the center shade crease, if that makes sense, kind of like right along here, if you want that to be nice and sharp and not blend, I would definitely put down some concealer first and then pack on that gold color and blend out the edges. But for today's look, I just kind of wanted it to all kind of merge together. All right, now I'm going to go in with a little bit of espresso just to deepen that up a little bit. Okay, I think I blended too much because now this eye is looking all sorts of funky. So because I'm a perfectionist, I'm going to go ahead and take this off and retry this look. And hopefully it comes out right this time because I'm not, like this eye, not terrible. This eye, not loving it. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off and try to fix this look. Okay, so this is the eyeshadow. It came out so much better this time. I used all the same shades, but the only thing I did differently was when I applied the eyeshadow primer, I did go ahead and set it. And to set it, I used the shade Blanc from the palette, the Pro Palette 3. And I feel like the shadows blended so much better with the primer set down. So I definitely recommend you set the eyeshadow primer. The whole mistake that I had earlier was totally my fault. It has nothing to do with the palettes. I just blended the gold and the brown too much together so that the gold kind of covered up the brown and everything was shimmery. And I didn't want that. I only wanted it shimmery on the center of my lid. So totally my bad. We all make mistakes. So we fixed it. We're good to go. That's all that matters. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the face. And for primer, I'm going to be using the Becca First Light Priming Filter. I did just pick this up in my last haul video, I believe. I will link it up above if you want to check that out. But I got this for $9.99 and this is the full size. So definitely a steal. I can't wait to try this. I don't think I've tried this before. I'm just going to go ahead and apply this. I was expecting it to be kind of like a silicone feel, but let's see what this is supposed to do. Brightens even skin tone, hydrates, natural finish, preps for makeup. I definitely feel like it brightened my skin for sure. Definitely feels really hydrating, and it's got a little bit of stickiness to it, which is nice. So I like that. Too bad Becca's going out of business, but you know, what can you do? All right, next we have a foundation, and I feel like this is going to be way too pink for me, so I did grab a foundation adjuster if I do need it. This is the Milk Blur Liquid. It's a matte foundation. I got the shade Creme, and this was $11.99 at TJMAXX. I'm going to swatch it on my skin first. Oh, I don't know. So I thought this foundation was going to be too pink for me, but I actually think it was too light because I took some Catrice darkening drops with the foundation, mixed it up, and I swatched it, and I feel like it matches a little bit better. Definitely full coverage for sure. Okay, so I'm looking at it up close, and for a matte foundation, I am thoroughly impressed. Now, I have pretty oily skin, but I don't use matte foundations because I don't like the way they lay on my skin. This is not laying on my skin funky at all. Like, it looks like skin. Long wear matte finish, silicone-free formula, won't clog pores so skin can breathe. Blurring microspheres, minimize the appearance of pores, fine lines, and imperfections for smooth, flawless-looking skin. My skin looks flawless. And it's not too matte. Like, it's definitely matte. It doesn't really have like a sheen to it. Maybe like a little bit, but that could be my primer as well. I'll have to try this foundation with a primer that's not like hydrating and see if I do get that matte finish, just as a curiosity. But this finish right here, I love. This is like my go-to foundation finish. It's got a little bit of dew to it, but not too much where I look like a greasy mess. All right, next we have concealer. I have this BH Cosmetics Studio Pro Concealer, Total Coverage Concealer Duo. Now, I heard amazing things about this concealer when it first came out, and I found this at TJMAXX for $5.99, and it comes with two of them. So this is the shade 100.5. Hopefully this isn't too light. I'm not loving this applicator. Let's start with that first. Let's take a look up close. It's looking a little cakey under my eyes. It's creasing super fast. But like all the texture under my eyes, you can totally see it. It's not terrible, like it's not the worst concealer I've ever tried, but it's definitely not my favorite. Definitely gives you that coverage for sure, but I'm just not loving the way my under eyes look. I'm not even gonna bother putting it down my nose because I feel like it's gonna like enhance the texture of my nose, and I'm just not about it. So I don't love this. Alrighty, next for powder, I have this Milk Makeup Blur and Set Matte Loose Setting Powder. This was $9.99 at TJ Maxx, and I picked up the shade Translucent Light. I feel like I heard really great things about this. Hopefully this will help out my under eye situation. It's a net, which is nice because that means you don't go crazy with product and just keeps everything a little bit cleaner. I'm gonna go ahead and take this brush. It doesn't have a name on it. I'm gonna set my eyes. It does not feel dry at all under my eyes. I'm gonna go ahead and take my powder brush and kind of set the rest of my face. So I really like this powder. I do feel like everything looks nice and smooth, which is one of the claims. It's Blur and Set, and it says powder filled blurring microspheres, blur pores and cut shine instantly for a soft focus effect. So it says sets a sheer lightweight. There's so much to say. Without leaving a chalky cast or causing flashback, which is really great for photography. It says smooths avocado powder and hyaluronic acid combined to smooth skin for a canvas that allows a powder to lay without settling to fine lines. So all those claims are definitely true from what I'm seeing. Everything looks nice and smooth, and I feel like this powder and that foundation combo is like flawless skin. Like, I'm obsessed. My under eyes, not loving it. Looks a little cakey under there, but I honestly think that's the concealer, not the powder. So as I was putting my powder on, I totally forgot that I wanted to try this Milk matte bronzer stick, but I feel like this is not going to be good over powder. I don't want to ruin my makeup, so I'm just going to go ahead and try this Marc Jacobs Omega Bronze in Tantric. This was $16.99 at Marshall's. I can't even get over it. This bronzer's freaking huge. Alright, so I'm just going to grab my bronzer brush. Oh yeah. This color's super pretty because it's not too cool or too warm. It's like the perfect bronzer shade for me. I really like this bronzer. It's the perfect shade. It did not cling to any spots, and I'm not surprised because I've heard really great things about this bronzer anyways. But yeah, I love this. Alright, next for blush, I have this Zoeva Sweet Glamour little like blush trio, but I don't think it's gonna go with this look. It's like really bright pinks, and that does not go with this look at all. And this is the only blush that I had, so I'm gonna have to go in my collection and grab something not from TJ Maxx or Marshalls, but this just doesn't go. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and take my MAC blush in the shade Peaches. I definitely needed like a peach toned blush. I feel like that bright pink would look a little crazy. Alright, next is highlight. Now, I have these two products that I really want to try. The first one is this Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder in Translucent Glow. I want to try this on the apples of my cheeks and kind of see what it does. I didn't want to try it all over my face because I feel like it would have been way too shimmery. But this was $12.99 at Marshall's. I just want to try it on the apples of the cheeks first and see like how like glowy it is. And if it's not too glowy, then I could use it all over the face, but I don't want to risk it and look like Tin Man. So we're just going to try it like this first. Yes, I am so glad I did not use this all over my face. It definitely has like a sheen to it that like if I put it all over my face, I would have looked ridiculous. And it does have like a golden glow, so if you don't like gold glowy products, you won't like this. I feel like this is more of like a highlighter than like a setting powder. I just feel like it's too blinding to be a powder. And then now for highlighter, I'm going to try the Too Faced Love Light Prismatic Highlighter in the shade Blinded by the Light. And this was $8.99 at Marshall's. I wanted to try these when they first came out, and at first I couldn't find the color that would look good on my skin tone, but then I found this shade and I died. I don't want to mess it up. It looks so pretty. That is so pretty. Definitely takes a little bit to build it up. I don't know if that's the way it's pressed into the pan where it's kind of hard and you really have to dig your brush in there. But you can definitely build it up to that like blinding highlight, and that is so pretty. And it doesn't enhance my texture at all. which I've been having like a lot of texture on my cheekbones recently. I've been trying to be better about my skincare because my skin has been like freaking out. So I have a little bit of like breakouts up here, but the highlighter is really not enhancing that at all. And it's not enhancing the texture on my nose, which is amazing because a lot of highlighters do that for me. Okay, so I don't have brows, mascara, or lashes from TJMAXX and Marshalls, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera really quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I did go ahead and finish up my lower lash line as well. I did the exact same shades and technique that I used up above on the upper lid. For my brows, I used the Anastasia Dip Brow in the shade Taupe, and I set them with the Essence Make Me Brow in Blondie Brows. And then for mascara, I used the Maybelline Sky High Mascara. And for lashes, I use the Simply Style lashes in the style Fig. And now let's move on to the lips. So now this I didn't find at TJMAXX or Marshalls, but I'm just going to go ahead and line my lips with this really quick. It's the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in the shade Sandstorm. Alright, so for the lipstick, I'm going to be using the Pure X Barbie Iconic Lips Signature Semi-Matte Lipstick in the shade Trailblazer, and this was $3.99 at TJMAXX. I love this packaging. All you have to do is like click it, and it comes right out. And this color, heaven. It doesn't really have that great of a scent, to be honest. Lastly, we have setting spray, and I want to try this Glam Glow Glow Setter Makeup Setting Spray. This was $16.99 at Marshalls, and it says that it is a makeup perfector, makeup refresher, hydration, energize, and glow. Skincare and makeup in one simple step. A sexy glow setting water that instantly perfects and finishes makeup for an instant sexy Hollywood glow. And yeah, so let's go ahead and give this a try. Ooh, a really, really light mist. I don't know if you can see that. Ooh, it smells so good too. So the mist is really nice and light, but you kind of have to hold it close to your face to even like get any product. Definitely gives you a super pretty glow, but it does not look greasy at all. I really like that. I'll be curious to see how this works with like oily skin. I'll definitely have to try it again and wear for like a long period of time and see how it works out. But so far, I really like the glow that it gives. I forgot to give my thoughts on this lipstick. I do really like it. I love the color. It's not drying whatsoever. It's got a little bit of give to it, so it's not like a drying matte. Now, the scent, not a fan, but otherwise it's really pretty and I do like it. So that completes today's video. This first impressions went pretty well. There was only one or two things that I wasn't in love with. The first thing is this BH Cosmetics Studio Pro Total Coverage Concealer. I don't know if I maybe put too much on, but I just didn't like the way it looked under my eyes. It just enhanced texture and it creased like crazy, and even setting it with a powder, it just didn't look that great. So maybe next time I'll have to try it again with like less product and see if it works out a little bit better for me, because I've heard really great things about this, but I'm just not loving the way it looks. And then the next product that I didn't love was this Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder in the Glow version. I think I don't like this because it says that it's a setting powder, and it's definitely not. It's just, it's way too shimmery to be putting it all over your face. Now, if that's the look you're going for, you do you, boo. Now, if you want to put it on the high points of your face, kind of like a highlighter, and put it on like your cheekbones, the bridge of your nose, your cupid's bow, your chin, your forehead, I think it would be gorgeous. But it's not a terrible product. It definitely does the job with adding like a glow, but I don't know if I'd be using this all over my face, especially since I'm pretty oily / combination, so I don't think this would work out too well for me all over the face. But so yeah, otherwise everything worked out pretty well. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to let me know in the comments down below and give this video a big thumbs up. And also, if you're new to my channel, be sure to click the subscribe button down below and turn on the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!